So I know a lot of us have been looking forward to this chapter of Kagurabachi, especially with how everything was set up from the previous chapter, because if you recall, the way that we saw the previous chapter end, we saw Yura, Samura, and Chihiro all together in one spot, so we knew right off the bat that things were going to get wild in the upcoming chapter. And what we see in this chapter, we get more insight on Yura when it comes to how he views everything. And we obviously know that Chihiro has some unfinished business with Yura, because if you connect the dots, you know exactly why his eyes are set on him. And before I get into this review and I give my thoughts on everything that happened in this chapter, if there's anything that you guys want to share with me when it comes to how you personally feel about this chapter of Kagurabachi, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, let's get into this chapter of Kagurabachi. So one of the most important moments in this chapter is Yura explaining that he now believes the Sword Saint was completely aware and intentional during the events 18 years ago. This completely changes how we understand the past. Instead of seeing that tragedy as a moment of instability, Yura treats it as a deliberate action carried out with full clarity. His calm explanation makes this belief even more unsettling, and this perspective also affects how he views the Kodaku ritual. Yura describes it as a calculated decision made for the sake of the country, not as an act driven by fear of desperation. He speaks about it without hesitation, showing that he feels no uncertainty about the sacrifices involved. His conviction is firm, and he believes deeply in the path that he has chosen. His criticism of Chihiro's father becomes clear with this mindset. Yura believes that Chihiro's dad should have used Shinichi's power to create order, not restrain it. And in his view, power must be used fully rather than held back. And this difference in how they understand responsibility and strength explains why Yura is so committed to his current direction. What makes this moment so striking is that Yura's calm, steady tone throughout that explanation that he gave. He does not appear conflicted or unsure. Instead, he speaks with the confidence of someone who thinks he has finally uncovered the truth and intends to act on it without any hesitation. And of course, when Yura releases Centipede, the scale of the attack immediately shows how dangerous the situation has become. The shockwave that we see reaches a massive area, clearly echoing the Sword Saint's power from 18 years ago. It feels intentional, as if Yura is trying to revive that same destructive force to support his ideology. The damage caused by the attack quickly raises the stakes. Even though the area has been partially evacuated, Samura still notes how much danger the remaining civilians are in. This reminder of real consequences grounds the scene and shows that Yura's action affect far more than just the battlefield. The chapter does not present the technique as impressive for its own sake. It emphasizes the risk and the total cost of it. And Shiba's response immediately counters this, because he steps in without hesitation, using his abilities to move civilians to safety. His actions reflect a different understanding of power, one centered on protection rather than dominance. He does not pause or question the difficulty of what he must do. He simply acts because protecting others is, of course, his priority. And these two moments placed side by side highlight the central difference between Yura and Shiba. Yura accepts sacrifice as it being necessary, while Shiba refuses to allow innocent lives to be harmed. This contrast adds emotional depth to the chapter and gives greater meaning to the conflict that is forming. And Chihiro's arrival changes the atmosphere of the scene immediately. When he steps forward and says that he intends to put an end to everything, the entire confrontation gains a new sense of direction. The moment is not dramatic for its own sake. The clarity in his words and the steady way he enters the scene make the moment feel purposeful and sincere. The timing of his entrance is significant because he arrives right after Shiba makes every effort to protect civilians and right after Yura demonstrates how far he is willing to go. Chihiro steps into this environment fully aware of the situation. This motivation is grounded in personal loss and the desire to prevent more harm, which gives his presence immediate emotional weight. Chihiro brings a personal need to stop the cycle of violence before it grows worse, and this difference makes his role in the confrontation feel important and necessary. And the flashback during Yura's involvement in the massacre of 200,000 civilians is one of the most impactful parts of this chapter. Instead of being presented as a moment that shattered him or caused him to question his beliefs, it is shown as something that strengthened his convictions. This reveals how far he has already gone in embracing his ideology. The flashback is presented in a straightforward and calm manner, which makes it even more unsettling. There is no dramatic emphasis or emotional framing. The simplicity of the delivery mirrors Yura's own lack of remorse. To him, this tragedy was part of the necessary path forward, and that perspective sets him apart from the other characters. This glimpse into his past explains why he speaks with such certainty throughout the chapter. He has already accepted what his ideology requires and has lived through its own consequences. That acceptance makes him a far more concerning figure because he is not acting under pressure or confusion. He's acting with clear intention. And by including this flashback, the chapter gives important context to Yura's current behavior. It shows that he is not changing or evolving. He is continuing a belief system he adopted long ago and has no intention of abandoning it. And Samura brings a grounded and human element to this chapter. His impaired vision and the shaking in his body shown by how worn down he is, yet he remains standing without hesitation. His determination gives the scene a quiet strength because it shows how he is acting out of responsibility rather than confidence or ideology. His physical condition adds a realistic perspective to the unfolding conflict. Not everyone has the luxury of entering the battlefield at full strength, and Samura is a reminder of the toll these events have already taken. Even so, he refuses to step aside. He stands firm because he understands the importance of the moment and his role in it. Samura's presence also adds balance to the dynamic between the character. Yura brings overwhelming conviction, and Chihiro brings personal resolve. Samura represents duty and resilience, and these three perspectives create a layered tension that gives the upcoming confrontation more emotional and narrative weight. By the end of the chapter, the stage is set for a three-way battle shaped by ideology, responsibility, and personal purpose. Tension is high, and each character enters the moment with motivation that sets them apart. So yeah, there was a lot to unpack when it comes to this chapter of Kagurabachi. Really appreciate how Hakuzono is writing Yura. Like, I feel like he has a lot of layers as a villain. It makes him really complex and very interesting to dive into the more we learn about him of each and every single chapter that we get focused on him. So that's something I can appreciate. And I also like, you know, how far Samura is willing to push himself. Like, even though he's not in the best state right now to really go into battle and do everything that he's doing right now. And of course, with Chihiro, when you look at things from his perspective, obviously he's there to put an end to things. Obviously, like I alluded to earlier in the beginning of the video, he has some unfinished business with Yura, considering all the bad that he caused, and he wants to put an end to this once and for all. So I am just like super excited to get more on this fight because, I mean, I'm just gonna say it right here, I have a feeling that this has the potential to be one of the best fights in the series once we get more chapters focused on it. So that's all I have to say about this chapter of Kagurabachi. So I'm very curious to hear how you guys feel about it. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Was there anything in particular that stood out to this chapter to you that I didn't mention in this video, or just anything in general? You should let me know all those thoughts, of course, in the comment section down below. And also leave your predictions on what you think might be happening next once we dive even further when it comes to this fight with Chihiro and Samura against Yura. And also, another thing I want to mention as well, if you enjoyed this video and you like seeing the content that you happen to stumble across today, be sure to show your support, like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And of course, if you want to see what I'm doing outside of YouTube, be sure to check out my TikTok, my X, my Instagram, and my Facebook page. All the links to those social media accounts are located in the description below, so be sure to follow me on there. Also, do you guys like anime? Do you like manga? Do you like Kagurabachi? I mean, I think you do if you happen to stumble across this video. If you guys are interested in any of those things I mentioned, and you also want to talk to me more, if you guys enjoy my content, be sure to check out my Discord server. The link is listed in the description. It is also pinned in the comment section down below, so you get an easier access that way. Be sure to click on the bell for notifications. You guys are notified whenever I upload a new video, just like this one on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.